All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Raise Hail Praise Dale bonus style. Normally we release just a paint scheme video, but one of our viewers, viewers suggested that we should commentate the paint schemes rather than just playing the music. Apparently that puts them to sleep, so we don't want that to happen. We want you to watch our full video. Although if you do fall asleep while watching it, just make sure you have it on autoplay for our other stuff.
Right.
But anywho's, I'm Voodoo.
I'm JT Dallas.
And welcome you guys. So we are going to do it a little bit different than what we normally do for our paint scheme reveals during our live streams. Got some new graphics. We do have a rating system that we will be putting out for each car, and a little bit of a sound there in case you wonder what that is. That's a old gun to put them lug nuts on there, but we went old school and did not go with the single lug. We went with the 5-star pattern. So car can get anywhere from 1 to 5 lug nuts depending on how cool we think it looks.
And of course, 5 being the coolest, 1 being the ugliest.
Yeah, or the lamest, or the dumbest, or
Whatever
whatever horrible word you want to put there.
And I think the way we worked it out is one of us, we're going to take turns being the first one to judge it. So like Voodoo is going to be the first one tonight, and then I will come back behind him and tell him if I agree with him or if I disagree with him, what points that we think bring out on the car, as far as like, say there's a car that he doesn't like but I really do like. So, you know, he'd say one lug, I'd say 5, and say, oh, this is why I think 5. Yeah. So
Or my witchy laugh wife in the background.
I didn't hear a thing, honestly.
So without further ado, we are going to jump into this. Just to remind you guys of what's going on this weekend, it's the Brickyard 400 back on the Indy Oval. We haven't seen that in quite a few years. Starting with practice on Friday at 2:35 p.m. Eastern on the NBC Sports app. Then we jump to qualifying on Saturday at 1:05 p.m. Eastern, also on the NBC Sports app. And then the race Sunday. Yeah. The race on Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern on NBC. That is not the sports app, that's the TV channel. So make sure you tune in properly there. And jumping forward, the race link.
All right. Yes, sir. I'm going to be covering the race links as far as stages. This week's math is real simple, but we're gonna go ahead and break it down for you, as you can see on the screen down there. Stage 1 is 50 laps, Stage 2 is 50 laps, and Stage 3 is 60 laps, and that is a grand total of 160 laps around the Brickyard.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna see what the racing looks like, but without further ado, I know I said that already. We'll get into our first scheme. That is Ross Chastain. So, not his normal scheme, although Busch doesn't really have a normal scheme, it seems like. Every week they run something different almost.
Right.
But this is his Be a Moose car, mostly red, got some black areas on it. Pretty simple scheme, but it's pretty average. I'm gonna go with 3 lug nuts. Go. So as you can see, that's where our ratings will be showing up at, over there just above the hood. So that's my rating on the car, is 3 lug nuts. What is your opinion?
So, I'm going to agree with you.
Okay.
3 lug nuts is justified. The only thing that I don't really like about this car is, 1, this isn't the first time we've seen this car. I mean, there might be a little bit of variation, but as far as, just, it's just not very different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot like his Hell Millen car a couple years ago, or was that last season? last season.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, a lot like that car. It's a good scheme. It's just I'm a sucker for a new scheme. So if like you show me a new scheme, it's probably going to get rated a little higher.
Yeah.
Unless it's just awful.
We do got a couple new schemes coming up in this episode, so we shall see when we get there. But jumping to our next driver this weekend, that'd be Austin Cindric.
So this scheme, it's the same discount tire that we've seen for 2 years. When he went to go get his 500 last year, his first victory at Daytona 500. It was this scheme. It's the same scheme that he runs quite a bit. It's a decent scheme. It just doesn't do a lot for me. It's very simplistic. I'm gonna have to go with 2 lugs.
Well, we'll get the image and the sound synced up for you.
Yeah, probably next time we do.
We got a 2-week break, so might have to come back and look at it.
In the second week, we will get to do another one of these, right?
True. Yeah.
So,
well,
technically, a week break.
Yeah, that's right. I'm thinking it's Monday for some reason. Anywho, it's not. So I would agree with you on the 2, just because it's not a super boring scheme, and it's kind of, it's Austin Cindric when it's on track. I'll keep it at a 2.
I would honestly, before we move on, I would go up to a 3, but it's just the same scheme all the time. That's the only problem that I have. Like maybe if it was just like kind of like the Moose car, we haven't seen it in a little bit. He brings back, I get that part. But if it's the same scheme every week, it's probably gonna get. If it's not a bad scheme, it's gonna get a 2 most likely.
Yeah.
So.
Unless we get a really, really bad one.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Austin Dillon. I don't know if that's Cynics or Scenics, however you say that. It's Tool Company. I like that it's a little bit different than what we normally see them in.
Yeah.
So you may not agree with me on this one, but because of the blue, black, and orange, bump it up to a 3 lug nuts for me.
I really don't agree with you. I like that. I like that it's a newer scheme that we haven't really seen. I just don't like the way that the scheme's put together. I'd have to give it a 2 lug. So.
Degrade my rating like that? How dare you?
I just don't care for this scheme. I mean, I like the color scheme. I just wish it had a little bit more going on, I guess.
I could see that.
I don't know. It's very simplistic. Not really even simplistic. It's just, I don't know. It just doesn't set right with me. Like if they would have done a different color besides the blue, I would have personally liked it a whole lot better. I thought it would have popped better if instead of where the blue is, put white.
Maybe. I don't know about that.
I don't know. I just, something about this scheme, I can't even really put my finger on it. Something about this scheme I just do not really care for. So.
All right. Well, moving on forward to the next driver, that of Josh Berry.
Yes, sir. This is the Panini, as far as the card brand, with the WNBA player on it. Don't ask me her name. I've forgotten.
Caitlin Clark. Come on now.
Oh, man. Caitlin Clark. Okay, I think I might be able to get it now. Just because it's different, and it's supporting the WNBA. It's supporting Panini. I'm gonna have to give it a 4 lug.
not a bad choice. Not a bad choice. I like the kind of black netting looking thing that you got going on the side there, and then you got
Like the fish
your red
scales
and
or
yellow.
whatever.
Yeah, you got your red and yellow accents going on. Definitely pops out. Now I wonder what made them go with Caitlin Clark on the front, but I mean, is what it is.
She paid
Nice little
the money.
crossover between sports.
She paid the money, you know.
Yeah, maybe so. I will keep it at a 4.
Okay.
Just because it is different. Not something that we would see on the track normally. And it's nice to see a new sponsor on track. I don't think I've seen Panini on a car.
I don't think so either.
Ever.
I can Google this real quick. If you want to go ahead and hop on to the next one, I will.
Well, the next one will be that of the Kyle Larson type. And we did see this car on track once during the Coke 327 or 37 mile race. But he did not drive it. So it's coming back, according to Hendrick Motorsports, by popular demand. So we'll get to see it on track this weekend. I would say that this one should probably be the primary scheme over his normal one.
I agree on that one.
But I feel like they can do more with this car. The car itself, I would say it wouldn't be a 3, but because of the color combination, I kind of want to bump it up to 4, so I don't know which way I'm going to flip it. But because it's slightly different, I think I'm going to hit the 4.
Okay. So, for clarification on the Josh Berry scheme, this is the first time Panini has been a primary sponsor. They have been secondary sponsors for a while, since 2021, but this is the first time they are primary sponsor.
Gotcha.
On the Kyle Larson car, I would have agreed with your 3 lug. Just because of, I mean, it's very, we've seen this before. I mean, granted, it wasn't him driving it, but it technically was supposed to be.
Yeah. Rain had
I liked it better on the Indy car, the color combination.
I agree on that one for sure.
The Indy car looked 10 times better. As far as this one, it's not a bad looking car, but it's not one of my favorites. I don't really know what else to say about it besides it's an average car.
You're average. Oh, just kidding.
Oh, thanks.
All right, moving on. Get our first RFK car, and that old Bad Brad.
Okay, so I'm a sucker for orange and black. I love this car. But at the same time, I feel like they could have done more with it. I mean, there's kind of a lot of dead space over by his number. So for that reason, I'm going to have to give it 4 stars instead of 5. I would have liked seen some, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, different shapes. Like, if they would have put some, like, of that, like, netting behind in some of that dead space that Josh Berry had in his Panini car, this would be a 10 out of 10. Like, I'm buying this diecast right now.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of dead space.
Yeah. So I know you're giving it 4. I'm gonna disagree with you on that one. What? I didn't even say what I was getting yet. A little trigger happy over there.
My mouth or anything. So I don't know why I'm just deciding to go off.
We'll get this stuff straightened out eventually.
I'm sorry, guys. Like, it's just automatically like.
So as I was saying, I am also a sucker for orange because that is my color, my number one color. But I feel like this is just his fast and all car with a couple different colors on it.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you put it at a 4. I'm putting it all the way down at a 2.
Okay.
I feel like they could have done so much with this car. Because like even the little stripes down there above their little associate sponsors on the side, is the same as every other scheme that they got going on. So.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel like I'd even be a lot more happy if they like got rid of the stripes at the bottom and put like even just like a black stripe kind of with the same style, but like up underneath the window.
Yeah,
I feel like it would even raise it a little bit up for me. But I understand where your 2's at. The only reason I did a 4 is because I am a huge sucker for a black and orange car. So,
well, jumping to the most winningest driver, if you don't count ever getting a win, or the joy.
We might agree on this one, depending.
I would say kind of plain, kind of got the whole Spire Motorsports package going on for what they run this same scheme in the trucks too. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
So I mean, it's nice. It's different, you know. It's Spire, but I'm going with 2. 2 simple little lug nuts. So hopefully that tire will stay on for him.
I have to agree. Just because it's the same scheme we see all the time, even like from trucks all the way up to Cup. I mean, it looks better as a truck scheme.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, I get that. I'm gonna say this, you understand what I'm saying? You have to wrap the car anyway. Why not have fun with it and make something new every time?
I get that point, but I know sometimes you want to have, I mean, Four of the Joy is not one of them, but under your normal circumstances with like your superstar drivers that pull in a bunch of money, you want the fans to know where they are on the track. So I can see.
I get drivers like Chase Elliott keeping, his normal Napa scheme, Kyle Larson, Hendricks, Joe Gibbs, that, but Spire is just not that team.
Very true.
Maybe they're trying to save money by, not getting a person to design a whole new scheme all the time, but it does get very old looking at the same scheme over and over and over and over again.
I agree.
That's just my personal opinion, especially now that they're not painting the cars. I'd give them a little bit more leeway if they had to paint the cars like they did in the early 2000s and stuff like that. They'd get a lot more leeway.
Yeah.
So that's my take. 2 stars or 2 lugs.
Yep. So jumping forward, you might like this scheme. It's it has not hit the track yet.
Ooh.
That of another Kyle, but we're gonna go with the Bush type.
Oh, listen, if you're ever gonna pull 5 lugs out of me, it's gonna be a patriotic scheme. It's gonna be a scheme that's never hit the track, or it's gonna have a lot of green on it. This marked 2 of those, so I'm gonna have to hit it with 5 stars or lugs. It's our first full tire. Okay, it's not the best patriotic scheme that I've seen. It's not the best scheme I've seen, period, but it's good enough where I'm just like, oh, it checks. Like, I don't know if it's the little kid inside of me that loved seeing like the Power of Pride cars or, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Spilling stuff? Anyway, sorry. It's just one of those nostalgia things that's probably every time you put a patriotic scheme in front of me, I'm probably gonna hit at least 4 stars, unless it's just a terrible patriotic scheme.
Yeah. So you give it 5. I'm gonna disagree with you. I do love the patrioticness of it. bless you. But the mere fact that really it's just a couple of stripes thrown on there with some very faint stars on the front, I feel like they could have put a little bit more effort into it. So with that being said, I'm going to drop it down to a 4.
I'm sorry. I'm carrying 2 conversations.
Okay. Yeah, so 4-star. I feel like they just could have done a little bit more with it. But it is a nice game, and I look forward to maybe seeing him pull off his first top 20 of the season. Just kidding, he's had top 20s already. But hopefully he'll run towards the front and get some of his bad luck out of the way.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Next up, we got that of Hendrick Motorsports and the Golden Boy, Chase Elliott, bringing his white Napa scheme back. The AAA batteries on the side this time. Kind of plain. It's literally the blue Napa scheme with whited out instead of, yeah, I don't know. Not terrible. Not great. I'm gonna go with 2 lug nuts. I was seriously considering maybe bumping it down to a 1, but not that bad.
So yeah, that's the problem that I'm having right now, because like this is our first episode of us rating them, so we don't really have a basis. I'm sorry, a basis of what is considered a 1 lug, because there are some ugly schemes. But
and like that zone scheme for Kyle Busch, that would be a 1 for me.
That would be a 2 solely because of the green. But
lame. Anyways,
I have to agree with you on 2 lugs. I've never really liked this scheme, even the first time it come out. It just didn't really pop to me. I thought it was the lazy way out, honestly.
Yeah. Well,
I don't really have much to say about it because there's not much on the scheme.
No worries for me. Jumping forward to Noah Gragson.
His number 10 Winchester car again.
Yep.
I do like this scheme, but it's one of those that we're seeing more and more of it. Which, I mean, I understand his team is gonna no longer be the whole team again, for lack of a better way to describe it. I like the scheme. It's really cool. I need to order one, but it's not new. It's kind of plain, honestly. I mean, it's gray with what is that, camo? If I remember right. Yeah, it's gray and camo. It definitely beats his 50 Shades of Gray car, the one that we have dubbed 50 Shades of Gray.
Yeah. Doesn't take much to beat that one though.
Yeah. It's still like 75% gray. So I'm going to have to give it we'll go 3 stars.
3 lugs, man. It's not stars.
I will get it. I know. I don't know why I keep saying stars.
So I'm gonna keep it at a 3 and say I agree with you, even though it's pretty much his Xfinity Series paint scheme that just moved up to the Cup with him. So we've seen it for a while, but we know it's Noah. I'm sure we'll see it in his new home too.
Maybe.
All right, jumping forward to that of the person who beat our favorite driver at one point. Oh wait, no, he wasn't racing that race. That's right. Denny Hamlin. This scheme is.
This is the same scheme that he ran for the Coliseum.
Yeah, it's real plain, real boring. I don't know what Joe Gibbs decided with Denny Hamlin to run pretty much the same blueprint of a scheme for his Sport Clips and his FedEx car. And I hate to do it, but I think I'm pulling out my first one lug.
Really? Now it's not gonna play. That's great.
That's all good. Yeah, so one lug.
Oh, there it goes. Okay.
pretty
so
plain.
bad it caught up.
They could have done a whole lot more with this car, but is what it is.
I agree with they could have done a whole lot. I will say I'm gonna keep it at a one lug because I do agree with you that it's the same as his FedEx car. It's the same blueprint, whatever. But in like at the start of this season, that picture, I have a picture on my phone still of his burnout in the Coliseum, and the way that picture made this car look, it was so like clean that is going to be like, that is still to this day one of my favorite pictures of this season in total. It's still a one lug because they could have done a whole lot more, but at the same time, I don't know, there's something special that every time I see the scheme I think of that picture, and I don't know what it is with that picture that I go to. But
well, moving on up to another Penske car, that being
the Blaney
Brian
side.
Blaney.
It's his Menards car.
If it's red this time.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's his Menards card plus red.
Yeah, it's red instead of black.
Uh-huh.
Just on the
black,
hood and the quarter panel, not
the
whole car.
Yeah, the black looked better. Two lugs.
I'm gonna have to agree with you, just because I mean it's the Menard scheme. Even when it's on Cindric's car, it's the same doggone scheme. So, is what it is. 2 stars. Enough said about that. We can go ahead and move on. Next up, Chase Briscoe. We've seen it already.
We have,
but I think I like the blue and white better than what's the other one that he runs?
Red and black.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the Mahindra.
Yeah,
I would rate this one better than that. I do like that it's not just a simple blue in there too. They got like some pattern stuff going on. They played around with it a little bit. So just for that reason, I'm gonna give it 3 lugs.
I think I'm gonna bump it up to 4. Solely because they have a lot going on in their blue. It's not just a blue and white scheme. It looks like the number at maybe not. From the way that I'm looking at it, could be foil numbered.
It is foil numbered, yeah.
So I don't know. I like the way that the numbers stand out. So I would just give it a 4 because it's a better scheme. It's one that I would put on my shelf.
I could see it on my shelf too. Now that I have more than just Jimmy Johnson back there. All right.
One day you'll get as many as I do, and then not have any room.
All right, jumping forward to the 15, Cody Ware. I've not seen this one on track.
Maybe we shouldn't see it on track.
It is pretty rough.
I like the green if I'm looking for something nice to say about it. Otherwise, it looked like they gave a 3-year-old a cup of melted crayons. Like, don't spill it, and he just like yeeted it across the room. And they're like, "Oh, that'd make a good scheme." I don't like it. It is, to be honest, I hate to say it, but I think I'm pulling out my first one lug.
Well, I'm gonna definitely agree with you on this one. I don't know what they decided to do with this. It's like green in the front, teal in the back, and gradient it down the middle.
Yeah.
But then they threw like a little spot of some navy blue on there.
Like I said, it looks like they gave a kindergartner free reign, which I would have even rated it higher if they were like, "Oh yeah, the kindergartner,
I think the
made
kindergartner would have done better, to be honest.
Man, I just like I don't get the way that the colors flow in this. Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah. I'm tired of looking at it. We're gonna move on.
Thank you.
AJ Allmendinger. Lots of orange, some white, and some trees. Little dude on the back. I actually kind of like this one. Different.
You know what it gives me? Like hardcore Home Depot vibes.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm giving this one just because of the use of the orange and the designs on it to where it's not super plain. I'm going 4 lugs.
4 lugs, huh?
Yeah.
I could see that. I like the orange and I like the nostalgia that I get from kind of looking at this car. Like like I said, it gives me hardcore Home Depot vibes. I wish that they would have picked a different color for the checkered flag on the back. I think it would have been better if it was just a normal checkered flag.
They're going for stage wins, not race win.
I guess. To me, the green kind of throws it off a little bit, which I mean, it could be their sponsor, so I'm not sure. But I'll have to agree with you on 4. So it's not a terrible scheme. It's not the best scheme. I would put it on my shelf, though.
Yeah.
It's unique.
Jumping forward to Chris Buescher.
I want to like this scheme so much. I really do. But it is literally just Keselowski's scheme, but with little specks of green and red.
Yeah. If you notice, they're kind of sharing schemes every time they do sponsors.
Yeah, and I mean,
all been the same.
I'm sure it's saving them money, and I think that's what it all boils down to. But what did we give Keselowski? 3 lugs?
I think so, yeah.
I'm gonna bump it up just because there's not all the dead space. I'm gonna say 4, but I'm really hesitant to give 4. So
well, I actually kind of like the Castrol Edge scheme. I'm gonna agree with you on 4 stars because it's definitely better than some of the other ones they got going on. And just like you mentioned earlier, the 17 number being the foil silver definitely helps it out.
I do like that. The number stands out way more with the foil. I agree with that one. So,
all right, jumping up to Mr. Soon to be retired, Truex Jr. I mean, it's his auto owner's insurance car.
Same one he's been running for 2 years.
Yeah.
In fact, this is the scheme that I had him sign of my 164s.
Nice.
So, I mean,
I'm going to give this one, just because I feel like they could have done more, I'm going to give it 2.
I'm going to agree with you. I think they could have done more. Like, if it was me, I would have put, like, more designs in the darker blue. Just something. I mean, it's kind of bland. It's definitely better than Cody Ware's.
Well, yeah.
But
on to your driver.
Yes, sir. As much as I hate to say it, and I said this, and I have to stand by it. I like when a driver has newer schemes. This is a scheme that we see all the time, which I understand.
Yep.
Joe Gibbs is racing. That's pretty much all you're going to get is schemes that you see all the time. Now, this one is not my favorite Bell scheme. If we're being honest, my favorite Bell scheme that he has ever ran was the Digi Camo that he ran a couple years ago. And so closely behind that is the purple one. But it's not a bad scheme. It's very simplistic. I'm going to have to give it 2 stars. Lugs. 2 lugs, I'm sorry.
You'll get it one day.
One day.
I'm going to agree with you on this one. I feel like, yeah, the sponsors red, white, and black, but they could have done something with this car. It just looks like there's some white misshaped stripes going down it.
Yeah, this is the point where, like, especially like Joe Gibbs Racing, I wish they would bring in like an actual, which I'm not saying that their designer is not an actual graphic designer or anything, but you're telling me you couldn't find anything cooler for a ream scheme than, you know, a black car with some white stripes around it?
Yeah, some red
Like,
accents.
yeah, like I feel like you could do so much with this car. Make it less boring.
Yeah. All right, jumping to Harrison Burton. His Draver car is coming back. Which I would say this is a nice change up from
the red and the
normal
white,
iconic Wood Brothers scheme that's been running for like 700 years.
Right.
I would say on that point it's different. I like the fact that they got some little bit of designs going with the gold numbers to match the car number and stuff. Not the best scheme.
Before you give your thing, the only thing that I could say that would like make this scheme really pop is if they had like a gold foil on their number instead of just gold.
Yeah, but I don't think Wood Brothers is gonna do that.
Unfortunately.
With that one being said, I'm gonna give it 3 lugs.
That was what I was thinking. It's definitely a different and a nice change from the red and white Wood Brothers scheme. Everybody knows which one I'm talking about if you know NASCAR. I like the kind of geometric lines that are in it. It's not just one line going down the car. You know what I mean? I like the black and the gold. You know, most of the time those schemes end up looking very nice. It's definitely not the Mobil 1 50th anniversary car, but I mean, it's still a nice scheme. I would have it on my shelf. So 3 lugs is fair.
All right. Jumping forward to a very familiar scheme of Joey Logano.
Wow. It's Joey Logano. The same scheme he's been running since 2015.
Yep.
2 lugs.
I will agree with you just because it's literally a yellow car
With a red line. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all it is. Enough said about that one. Moving on to Bubba Wallace. He's got his Air Force car this week, which we have seen before. Honestly, I would say it'd be better if it was the Air Force car that had the freaking teeth on the front.
The shark mouth, yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
I don't know what to give this one. I'm gonna go with 2.
Really?
Yeah.
I said the way to get to my heart is a patriotic scheme, green. What was the other one?
New, not on track.
Oh yeah, not on track. Well, it's not 2 of them, but it is 1. And granted, this is not the coolest Air Force scheme. Of course, the one with the teeth was. It's still an Air Force scheme. I mean, I don't understand what the little blue random blob is. And it's very, very plain. I mean, it's just Battleship Gray. And honestly, I was thinking about giving it 3 stars or lugs, 3 lugs. But the more I look at it, you realize it's just two-tone gray and a random blue blob. I could have made this scheme in 15 minutes.
Yep.
So I think I'm going to agree with you on 2 stars. Would I own the car and put it on my shelf? Yes. But that's only because it was, the only branch that sponsors the NASCAR anymore.
Yeah. Need to get the Army back out here. But
listen, we need to get all the branches out, even if it's just for one race. Because do you know how many diecasts they could sell from that one race?
Depends on who they're going. They're going through Lionel. It might not sell any. Jumping to William Byron. Pulling out his Valvoline scheme again.
This scheme's different to me. Because it is very simple, but at least it's got a little bit going on. I mean, you got the blue going to red for the Valvoline and all that. But then you take a look at the back of the car, and it's like a darker blue. I don't even know. I'm just gonna say two lugs. Just because, I mean, we've seen it. It's a simplistic scheme. It's not a bad looking scheme. I actually like it, but
it is indeed a simplistic scheme, but because it's a gray base and I think it would pop a little bit better if they changed it to a white base.
I think he has a white one, if I remember right.
I like the fact that all of the colors on the car are the colors in the Valvoline logo. So because of that, I'm swiping away your 2. I'm giving it a 3 star. Or lug nut. You got me saying stars now. 3 lug nuts.
3 lugs, huh? I could see that. I was almost gonna give it a 3, but I was just like, I really, what I mean? I was trying to find a way to just set it over. Like it was on the edge. I wanted to set it up.
Yeah. Moving on to Daniel Hemrick. It's a circle car. We've seen it here. We've seen it on the 16. We've seen it. Wasn't there one other number we saw it on? Maybe.
I don't know on that one.
It's better than the original circle car, but I don't know why they got this whole pattern going on. But then like it's just a white square behind the logo there. Weird. I'm gonna give it 2 lugs.
I'm gonna say 2 lugs as well, solely for the fact, I mean, it's like you said, it's got this weird pattern. I feel like they could have done a little bit better. I mean, I get they're showing off their product, they're showing all the different flavors of it, whatever. But I feel like they could have transitioned a little bit better than just here's this white, cloud.
Yep. For sure.
So,
all right. So next driver is a number we don't usually see on track. So, Ty Dillon, 33.
This is I like this scheme. I mean, yeah, you first look at it and you're just like, this is black and gray. There's not much to it. But then you look and it looks like there's some lines in the scheme. You've got the helmet and stuff on the rear quarter panel. I like this scheme. I mean, it is kind of simplistic, but you can tell they actually took the initiative in trying to hide something in the gray or the dark gray. So I'm gonna have to give it 3 lugs.
I'll agree with you on the 3. I do like it much better than the normal United Rentals scheme that they run when they pull the 33 out.
Yeah.
Definitely a nice change from that. So 3 lugs, not stars. I'll agree with. Jumping along to Front Row Motorsports. First one, Michael McDowell. What you think about this one?
It's your turn.
Oh, it is my turn. Okay. Well, we've seen it on the track before. I like the fact that it's not just like a whole bunch of horizontal lines and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not his love scheme, so it's nice to see a change from that. I'm gonna go ahead and throw a 3 lug nut on there.
I'm gonna agree with you. 3's good. Jesus Christ. I like the color scheme, you know, the blue and the yellow. It definitely goes together. Mixed in with the white. I like it. I like that it's not just horizontal lines, you know, or 2 colors slapped together with a one little bitty line to separate them. I feel like there's a little bit going on. You know, you look at it. I like the scheme. I mean, even some of his, even a lot of his secondary sponsors go with the color scheme. So I'll agree with you. 3 stars.
Jumping to the other front row guy, Todd Gilliland.
It's a black car that says generator.
Yep.
And a orange/gold 38.
I do believe the number is foil.
I mean, that makes it a little better, but they literally just slapped a black car on. I mean, it's not as bad as Cody Ware's, but it's still a 1 lug to me. There's nothing going on with this game.
You say 1?
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna differ with you. I know it's a plain black car, but I like the fact that they threw the foil number on there and that generator slapped real big on the side. So I'm not gonna improve it by much, but I'm gonna bump it up to 2 lugs. Just because I think this will actually look pretty doggone cool on track.
Maybe. I just don't like how plain it is. I mean,
I get it. Yeah. Moving on forward to another team that's shutting down at the end of the season. Ryan Preece.
it's the same scheme that he runs just about every other week when he's running Haas tooling. I mean, it does have stuff going on to it. So, I mean, I'll give it credit. It's not just gray and black with, you know, a couple of lines. I mean, it does have things going on with it. And I like the fact that the logo has all the colors that are on the car. It's got the foil 41. So, I mean, it is a good car scheme. I just, like I said, it's one of those that I just get tired of seeing it all the time. But with it having a lot going on and, you know, the colors matching up and stuff, I'm going to give it 4 lugs.
All right. That's higher than I expected. I'm not going to agree with you there. I'm going to say it's pretty average. About tired of seeing it, but you still know it's Ryan Preece when he comes out with it. So I'm going to bump it.
It's definitely not his Talladega Nights car.
No. Which that would instant 5 lugs for that one. But this is not that one. So this one I'm going to give 3 lug nuts. Yeah. And that's about all I'm going to say about that one. Next one up is a new scheme that we have not seen on track yet.
Ooh.
From Mr. John Hunter Nemechek.
What are your thoughts on this one?
I was kind of expecting something different. I was thinking maybe they would pull out something similar from the Xfinity series, but I mean the color scheme's nice, but I really wish they would have done more with it. Honestly, I hate to do it, but I'm gonna pull out just 2 little old lug nuts for this one.
I have to agree with you on that one, solely because, like, I don't know, it just doesn't really, it kind of checks me out. It reminds me of a Ty Dillon scheme when he ran the 42.
Yeah.
There's not really much to talk about. It's 2 colored lines on a white car. I mean,
All right. 2 it is. Moving right along to his teammate. Well, one of his teammates this week. That'd be Eric Jones.
it is a Dollar Tree scheme. Gives me Harry Gant vibes.
That's what it was based off of when they originally ran it. Yeah.
It's not. I mean, it's not the first time we've seen it. It's a good scheme. Don't get me wrong. But I like his other one better. That's just me.
Really? You like the other Dollar Trees better? I like this one better.
I do. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like that it's a Harry Gant throwback, or not really even a throwback. Just a, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because that is one of my favorite cars, and that is my holy grail piece. Is I want to find a Skull Bandit with the Skull Bandit on it, and not custom because they made like a few of them. But I'm gonna say 3 lugs.
I'll agree with you on that one. Definitely could have been a little bit more, but I like the fact that it's
at least
I like it better than the other Dollar Tree scheme.
Yeah, at least it's not the black, orange, and green one that Jimmy ran.
Lord.
I'm gonna say this: I would own that car, but it's not because of the scheme.
Yeah, because of the driver.
Yep.
Different driver. Tyler Reddick, Beast Unleashed.
I do like the Beast schemes. I mean,
I like this one better than the other monster schemes for sure.
Yes. I mean, the green and black is always iconic. Tyler Reddick pulls out some like bangers of some schemes, like his scheme. What was it last week? I think, where it was like the blue. It was like the sunset with the Jordan on it.
I believe
might have been Chicago.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I think it was Chicago.
That one, I love that scheme. But I mean, his beast schemes are top tier as well. I like that it's, it's not just black and green lines. He's like, you got the rips of the beast, you got the eye, the logo, of course. I'm gonna give this one 4 out of 5.
I'm gonna wholeheartedly agree with you on this one.
Yeah, it's
because I like the fact that it's not just regular old lines. It's like a beast is ripping into the side of the car.
Yeah. Now, I think that what's not setting it over as like a 5 is because we have, like, every time he runs a beast scheme, it's similar.
Yeah.
And I feel like which you might disagree with me on this one, but I feel like if it's gonna be a 5, it better be like, oh my gosh, this scheme is way cool. I see this, I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's not my favorite scheme, but it's a good scheme.
Yeah. Moving on. Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Oh, Ricky Spinout.
Different than his last Kleenex, but it's more simple than his last Kleenex. It almost looks like his regular old blue Kroger / Cottonelle car. It
almost looks like they took some lessons from the Wood Brothers, but inverted the colors.
Yeah. I'm gonna give this one 2 lugs.
I'm gonna have to agree with you solely because there's not a lot to talk about. I'm not gonna lie. The first time that I seen the Kleenex on the back quarter panel, I thought it was Baymax or like a robot or something because of the fuel. Like,
Sorry to disappoint
another
you.
thing, if they want a 5 lug rating, they better incorporate stuff like the fuel can. You know, what I mean, make that like a mouth or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah,
Alright.
it is what it is. It's not a bad scheme. It's not a terrible scheme. I will say that it's not a terrible scheme. It's not the best scheme.
Moving on. Alex Bowman, his ally scheme.
Okay, so it is similar. It might be the same ally scheme that he runs most of the time,
It is.
but at least it's not just lines on a dang car. Like there's so much going on in these ally schemes. Um, it's not the one that Dale Earnhardt, did for Nashville. That one was a banger.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not bad. I do like the ally schemes when they're like this. I like the purple mixed with the pinks and the blues, and it has like a 90s vibe to me a little bit, but it makes its own. So I'm gonna have to give it 4. Yeah, let's go with 4.
All right. I was leaning more towards the 3, but the fact that it does have so much stuff going on in the background of it, I'll keep it at a 4 with you.
Make no mistake, it's literally like leaning towards the 3. It's not like it's like, oh, it's a 4 because it's great. It's on the very edge of being a 3.
Well, I'll keep it at a 4 with you.
Okay.
Justin Haley. Meh.
It's not bad.
Give it 3 lugs is what I'm gonna go with it. The black car with some yellow stripes. I like the fact that they're not parallel stripes. It helps it out. And just because it's the Fraternal Order of Eagles.
So I have no idea what that is.
I think it's kind of one of those similar to like the veteran charities, like Shriners, stuff like that. Yeah, I think
that makes sense.
I could be wrong.
I'm going to disagree with you, and I'm gonna do 2 lugs solely because it's a gray car with yellow stripes and a white 51 on the side.
Okay. Not gonna agree on all of them.
Nope.
Jumping forward. Speaking of Monster Energy cars.
Wow, it's the same Monster Energy car he's raced since last season. Wow.
Yeah.
There's literally nothing about this scheme that makes me want to rate it higher than a 2. And it's lucky it's getting a 2 because it is literally a black car with the Monster logo on it. That's it.
Well, you might be giving it a 2. I disagree. It's a black car with literally the logo slapped on the side of it. So it's getting 1. Just a black car.
It's just a black car.
Enough said. Next up. 66. BJ McLeod.
Your thought?
They do have a hood sponsor, but they do not have a sponsor for the side of the car, if you couldn't tell. I do like the fact that it's not like BJ McLeod normally comes with just that black car with his 78 on the side of it. But because he's running for MBM, it's a slightly different scheme. It's not their green and white scheme that they usually got. So I would say this one leans to the patriotic side. Just because of that, I'm going with 2 lug nuts.
It looks like their designers were going through and found a Kyle Larson scheme and dumbed it down. That's all I can say about this. I will keep it at 2 lug nuts. Solely because, hey, he's there. He's not in just a black car. And I mean, it's not really his fault that they couldn't find a side sponsor. But I feel like if you don't have a sponsor, You could do so much more with that car. Like you could put, I don't even care what you put on it. You could put a T-Rex fighting Abraham Lincoln on the side of it if you wanted to.
Yeah. Now, I can understand why they would leave it open just to see if they could pull a sponsor before the race. But what I would do is
have a scheme ready in case you don't.
Well, throw the doggone team's logo back there super big. That would make it pop off a little bit better.
Or I would even it'd be way cooler if they handed the whole team that worked on the car, that's like, mechanics, pit crew, whatever, a Sharpie and let them sign each side. That would be cool. Instead of just this whiteboard of a car. Like the only reason I'm giving it 2 is at least it has some design.
Yeah.
Like it's got, blue and red lines that aren't straight. And it, like I said, it looks like they found a Kyle Larson scheme on Forza, and they're like, oh, I bet we can make that work for our Ford. We'll just take the numbers and all the stuff off.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can say. It's lucky it's not a 1.
Yeah. A few more left to go. Jumping to Zane Smith.
Has he ran this one before? I think
he has. Yeah.
Yes. I like it. I like that I like the colors in it. I like that it's not a lot of dead space. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 lug.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to disagree with you. Mostly because of the orange. So I'm pulling that 3 away, and I'm going to jump it up to a 4. Just because of that color combination. The only thing that would have made it better would be if they took your advice and it was orange and green. But I like the fact that it's not just a solid color in there in the middle or in the orange. It's like different shades of stuff going on. 4 lugs. Jumping forward to the other Spire Motorsports car.
Wow.
Carson Hocevar.
It's Hocevar's normal scheme, it feels like.
Yeah.
His Ziegler car. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like this car. I mean, I like the black, yellow, and white. I like that it's not just a bunch of dead space. So, I mean, it's gonna get a 3. But it's not a very high 3. It'd be closer to a 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I'd keep it at a 3. It's simple, but a little bit better than simple.
Yeah.
I was hoping I would have a better image of this next car so I can do it justice. But we're gonna go ahead and reveal it anyway.
Instant 5. My turn. I'm sorry.
It's all good because I was going the same route. His kids made this one. 2 daughters. Painted a bunch of pictures and they put it on there. Different than his also 5-star Carvana Daytona team that he ran.
Which hopefully I will be getting mine in about a month.
Hopefully. So, 5 stars. Looking forward to seeing him win at Indy. And then jumping to last but not least, Daniel Suarez.
He's ran it before. I mean, it's not a bad scheme. I like the foil numbers. I like that it's not just straight lines. I like the fact that they added the logo, like the freeway logo, into the scheme.
Yeah.
Like if you look, I know I'm pointing at my screen and you guys can't see it, but if you look down by the tire, by the jockey logo, you can see that is the same logo and the same colors. For that, I'm gonna give it 4. I mean, I like the color combo.
Yeah, I can agree with you. That's one thing I like about Trackhouse this season is all of their paint schemes have pretty much been awesome.
Yeah,
I'll definitely keep it at a 4.
Um, kind of offbeat, but if you had to pick one Trackhouse scheme from this year, that would be like the top scheme of this season, what would it be?
A Trackhouse scheme?
Yes.
I would have to go.
I have two on my mind.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I would say for Suarez, it would be his Kubota scheme.
The one with like the doodles in it.
Yeah, all the
Yeah.
different little things in it.
Yeah.
And then for Chastain, I would say probably that most recent jockey scheme that he had, the patriotic one.
That one was good, but that's where me and you are gonna differ. Because I was thinking of the Kubota scheme for Suarez, but my favorite Chastain scheme has to be the fish, the bass one.
Yeah,
That one was a good one.
yeah, I could see that. All right, well, that's all of the schemes for the Brickyard 400. I did the intro, so I'll let you handle the outro, but got something new that I did for the scheme for the scheme
The scheme.
for the podcast. So make sure before you head off of this video to go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at you. All right, guys. So since I'm doing the outro, thank you so much for watching this installment. I'm not even gonna call it an episode, just an add-on to Race Hail Praisedale. Check us out on Mondays where we go live. We talk about the race before, which after this week we won't really have a race before to talk about, but we talk about news. We talk about the upcoming races. We throw in some. We just sprinkle a little bit of everything NASCAR in there. This next Monday we have an announcement again. Looking forward to that. Let's see here. What else was there? Oh, if you guys don't mind, check out the GoFundMe for Voodoo over here over here. We were in Tennessee. If you guys didn't know, me and him finally met together. You can see that on the bonus episodes of us unboxing cards, plus that live episode. We got to meet up in Tennessee. It was a lot of fun. We definitely said we'll have to do it again sometime. But the
Hopefully
day that we
without
were
the last day.
the day that we were leaving, we stopped in at a flea market as our last stop. After that, we were going to go our separate ways. Well, his vehicle got totaled in the parking lot. Luckily, nobody was hurt, but now he has to come up with another vehicle. So if you guys could help him out and check out that GoFundMe that's in the description, we would really, really appreciate it. If you can't give, hey, no problem. We understand. But if you can, we would really appreciate it. What else is there? Be watching out for our weekend winners that drop Monday before our lives. And of course the scheme videos. And now we're going to be doing one with commentary. So be ready for that one.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have an announcement Monday that we're gonna hit the ground running with. Am I forgetting
I gotta
anything?
come up with some graphics for that.
I see. Yeah. Yeah. Be sure to check out our X and our TikTok. We do post mainly. So our TikTok is mainly for weekend winners, but occasionally we'll post something a little different. Our X, reach out to us on that. I think that's it. Am I missing anything?
I don't think so.
All right. So thank you guys once again for joining us for this episode. Be sure, like I said, to like and subscribe. And until next time, we will see you in the next turn.
Later.